Good morning, everybody. Welcome. We'll get started in just a minute here. Good morning. Thank you all for joining us. We'll get started in just a second. Thanks for your patience. Welcome, welcome. We'll get started very soon. Thank you all so much for being here today. Good morning. Thank you all so much for joining. I'm still seeing our participant numbers climbing, so I'm going to give us just 30 more seconds, and then I'll go ahead and get us started. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Amber Hyris. The Early Math Project team welcomes you to the 2025 Early STEAM Symposium. Here is our event schedule. We'll begin with a keynote presentation from Dr. Judith Fabrega. Her presentation will focus on outdoor play as a powerful tool to help children develop rich and essential math skills like spatial awareness, measurement, and problem solving. Dr. Fabrega's presentation will be followed by a 10-minute break and transition time to our first breakout session. We'll look at the breakout session options in the next two slides. After our first breakout session, please join us for a brief resource break from the Count, Play, Explore initiative and the Early Math Project. Next, we'll take a 25-minute lunch break and return at 11:50. Then, Daniel Mendoza will provide our after-lunch keynote, which will focus on designing art activities that naturally incorporate math concepts. His keynote will share practical strategies and creative project ideas to foster young learners' mathematical thinking. Then our afternoon breakout sessions begin at 1:05. Following these, we'll come back together at 2:05 for closing remarks, the end of event survey, and certificates of participation. There are 7 breakout session options to choose from in the first breakout session period. You'll be able to select whichever option interests you most. The sessions will be recorded, and we'll announce when they're available for viewing later, so not to worry if you're feeling torn between the different options. Please note that the breakout session titled STEAM-Powered Play, Igniting Wonder Through Exploration is a 2-part presentation. Part 2 will occur in the breakout session that's happening after lunch. There are 6 breakout sessions from which you'll be able to choose this afternoon. They'll also be recorded and available for later viewing. At this point, I'd like to hand things over to Terry Young, a representative from the Mathical Books program, to share some resources and opportunities with us. Thanks so much for joining, Terry.
Thank you. Good morning. I'd like to just briefly tell you a little bit about the Mathical Books program. It's funded by the Simon Laufer Mathematical Science Institute, and its 3 partner organizations are the National Council of Teachers of English, the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, and the Children's Book Council. Next slide, please. Many of you are probably wondering, what is Mathical? It's an annual children's book prize for fiction and nonfiction books that inspire children to see mathematics in the world around them. The 20-member jury selects winners in 5 grade levels categories: pre-K, K through 2, 3 through 5, 6 through 8, and 9 through 12. In addition to the award, each year Mathical also funds 36 Title I schools with $850 in free Mathical books for their school library. and schools get to choose which books they wish to have. Applications will be found by visiting the School Library Journal website and searching for Mathical books. Mathical also sponsors a free readathon. Last year, over 17,000 students, led by 106 educators from 16 states, participated, exposing students to many excellent books. Next slide, please. For more information, visit the Mathical website where you can sign up for the free newsletter, which offers activities that support both mathematics and literacy. Mathical is also available on social media. You can find us on X, Facebook, Pinterest, and WhatsApp. Next slide, please. To learn more, please get in touch with Kirsten Bohl at kbohl@slmath.org. She can help you sign up for reminders, the newsletter, and help you navigate the website that has many wonderful resources. And we hope that you will start sharing Mathical books with your students in early fall. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us, Terry. We really appreciate those awesome opportunities and information. We at the Early Math Project would like to stay in touch and to let you know about upcoming events and periodically share free new resources. The Early Math Project publishes a monthly newsletter. If you aren't already signed up for the Early Math Project's newsletter, and if you would like to receive that monthly update, you can subscribe using the bit.ly or the QR code that's available on the screen, or you can let us know in the end of day survey. Speaking of surveys, we know that surveys can feel a little tedious, but we really do appreciate survey results. They inform our future events. We're contemplating several changes and would particularly like your feedback on the length, format, and times that future events are offered. Another reason to take the survey is because it must be completed by anyone who would like to receive a certificate of participation for attending today's event. More information on completing the survey will be provided at the end of today's event. We really appreciate your input, so thank you in advance. Just as a preview, once you complete that survey, you'll receive a link that can be copied and pasted into your browser that will let you have access to download the certificate of participation. You'll be able to add your name, save it, and make a copy for your records. As just a preview of that process, this quick video that I'll play explains how to receive a certificate of participation. And we will provide this video again at the end, but this is just a preview so you know what to expect. All right, and like I said, that's just a preview. We'll run through the survey and information on certificates of participation again at the end of today's event, but we just want to make sure that you know what to expect. With that, sorry about that. With that, we are honored to have Dr. Judith Fabrega join us today. Dr. Fabrega is an early childhood educator and mathematics education specialist with a deep commitment to nurturing young learners' curiosity and mathematical thinking. With extensive experience teaching preschool, pre-K, and kindergarten in both Spain and the United States, Dr. Fabrega brings a rich, equitable perspective to early mathematics education. Please join me in welcoming her.
Thank you. Am I here?
Yes, you are here, and screen share should be ready for you.
Perfect. Let me start sharing my screen. Can you see it?
It's loading now, but you're getting so much applause. We're all so excited to hear. All right, it looks good.
Perfect. So let me start then. Oh my goodness, this is so exciting. Let me start. I'm truly, truly honored to be here with you all today. I can hardly believe that I'm going to be opening this amazing symposium. Thank you. That's the first thing that I want to say, and I will repeat it 100 times. Like you can see it in my face that I'm so excited of being here. Today, I will share some ideas about the power of the outdoor play in early math education, because we know as educators that learning is not confined to four walls, right? It actually happens in the world, in the moments of play, in every experience we provide for children, like everywhere. And today, I want to invite you to imagine what it will look like if we remove those walls and allow the entire world to be a classroom, with every space becoming an opportunity for learning. So now that I got in the introduction out of the way and I'm not feeling anxious anymore, I like to properly introduce myself. So I'm Judith. Every time that I have to introduce myself, what I like to say is that I'm an early childhood educator. That's what I have done forever. That's what I love to do. I've been working with children 0 to 8-year-olds. And that has been my passion. I've been teaching. Now I'm a professor in a university in Barcelona, helping pre-service teachers. I also work in a company, Novamag, where we create activities, curriculum, and professional development for teachers. So I'm always surrounded by kids, teachers, and that's what I like to do. Before that, I start the presentation. I was looking like, what is the first two things that I want to share with all the amazing teachers that are going to be joining today? Because let me say that first, it's an honor to have all of you here. Like it's not common to have only like early childhood educators together in a place to talk about math and science. And today I'm going to be focusing a lot about math, but you will see that it will be connecting with other areas. But let me start with that quote that I think that it will resonate with all of us. And I think that it will give a perfect introduction with what I want to show you the rest of this session. So it says, when we are very young children, we don't need fairy tales. We only need tales. Mere life is interesting enough. A child of 7 is exciting by being told that Tommy opened a door and saw a dragon. But a child of 3 is excited by being told that Tommy opened a door. And I feel that's amazing. It's a beautiful way just to say how amazing children are in asking questions, discovering the world, trying to understand through different tools and way of understanding, like how they are going to connect with all these things that are around them. And what is the best way for me to show you how important is that for me? That show you a picture of my little one. My little one that is not little anymore. He's almost 10. And I asked him for permission if I could use his picture. He said yes. And just look at his face. What do you see there? I think that the most important thing that we see is his eyes, right? Like, what is he doing? He's just paying attention to every single detail that is in that little leaf that he has in his hands. He was looking at the little bugs that were walking. He was looking at the length of it, how it feels, what he can do with it. So he was already doing math and science. He was learning from just touching and experiencing. But the most important thing for me, it was the curiosity, the wonder. And that's something that is going to be encapsulating the main idea of our session today. That idea of wonder, that idea of curiosity, and that idea that children are capable. And I know that you know that, and you will ask me, like, how does it connect with the theme of this symposium that is outdoor learning? And let me show you. There is tons and tons of research that talks about how outdoor play supports math learning in early years, and how it's going to help students and children into developing their learning in different areas. There is a lot of research about it. I have done tried to do like a pretty simple summary for you to get those ideas. But I think that what is important in here is that we understand what are those main verbs, name the words that are going to summarize what research says about why outdoor learning is important. If we start with the first idea, it is that it gives a perfect scenario for students. I will keep saying students, wait, children, for children to be in contact with abstract math in a meaningful way. What that means is I'm going to give you a place where you feel safe to have experiences where you are going to have really rich math in a way that is going to be significant for you. That's the first idea. And let's keep in our mind those words that are in bold, because those are the ones that are going to keep appearing during the whole presentation. What is the second one? So another big idea in here is that when we are outdoor, we are happy. We have a lot of opportunities to I don't know, for that curiosity, for that joy, to keep learning about what is around me. And I want to make connections with what I know and what the world is giving me and in front of me for me to learn and make those connections through joy and happiness. It integrates the different area, right? It is like, it's a way to connect math and with science, with art, with language, with movement. And we know in early years how to do that through songs and words and music and movement and games. So outdoor is the perfect place also to do all those things. And that's another thing that research is telling us about it. And also the emotional part. When we are safe, when we feel connected, we are more, we feel ready to take risks, to actually ask deeper questions and to want to solve it in different ways, in many different areas. So I think that those are the four main ideas that I would like you to keep in the back of your mind. But now let's stop with what research said, now that we have a broader idea. And I will like you to think just for like 2 seconds. How would you define outdoor learning in a single word? Just one. If you have it in mind, just keep it there and let's see if there is any of those words that you see in this presentation. I see magical, immersive, exploration, oh, amazing, fun. And you know what? All the words that are here in that cloud, in the word cloud, are the words what I use is the description for all the sessions that you are going to be seeing today. So I took all the descriptions of this session, asked actually ChatGPT to help me with this, and give me what are the words that are more common in those sessions. And that was beautiful to see, because everything that you're going to be seeing today, it's completely related with what research is saying. They are talking about capability, confidence, play, curiosity. And all these words, it made me so happy, because at the end, what I was thinking is, what if today, what I bring to you is, what if classrooms had no doors? And not just physical, meaning opening the doors and going outside, but conceptual too. What if we connect math with everything? And also the idea of what is the outdoor thing that is giving the children that perfect scenario for them to do meaningful learning. And it's all those words that we have seen, that outside, children feel capable, children feel joyful, they feel, they have opportunities for wonder. So all of those things are the things that we are going to be unpacking today in using the words of all those presentations that you are going to see today. So let me share you how we are going to do this. We are going to be picking some of those words, and I will show you examples that through my career, it made me connect with that idea of outdoor learning and at the same time no doors, how we are going to bring all that beautiful skills that we are using naturally outside in many other scenarios, right? So the first thing that I have seen is these two big words, capability and confidence. And let me show you few pictures here. What do you see here? I mean, every time that I see this picture, it just brings me back to the moment that when I was there. So this is a outdoor space of one of the schools in here in Barcelona. And when it was happening, they have a new structure that is like this little wooden house. And some of the students started climbing into the house. They were exploring, they were seeing how far they could go climbing up. The children in blue with the blue jacket, he didn't feel like going up. He was scared. He didn't feel he could do it. And then the other student in the red jacket was just next to him, like no pushing. It's like, okay, let's see how far you can go, how high you can go. So they started playing and helping each other in going up, taking risks. Like sometimes as teachers, and even as an adult, myself as a mom, when you see your kid like is climbing a tree and it's so up high and it's like, okay, that's scary. But we know they are capable and they will go as far they feel they can go. And that's something beautiful that outdoors is giving us, being risk takers and being that feeling of, hey, I can do this. So that's exactly what we want. I see somebody is like, I will be having a heart attack. Yeah, I did too. But they do it and they feel they can do it. So that's the feeling that I want that we as teachers, we create for students to be able to do it everywhere, not only outdoors, but everywhere where they are learning and in contact with something that is meaningful for them. Let me share you another example. This is the same school, another area, and they were thinking they wanted to bring water from one side of the play area to the sandbox. So they started thinking like, okay, if we need a tube for bringing the water, how long does it have to be that tube? How we are going to measure this part. So it was a lot of math that it was involved in it. They were measuring, they were estimating, they were counting, they were doing problem solving. There's tons of things that they were doing because they wanted water there to keep doing, like they wanted to play with water and sand. Why? They were doing more math and more complicated math and a lot of situations in which they were engaged with high numbers and really like difficult operations and measurement, because the math they were doing there, it was real. The tools that they were using, they were familiar because they chose the tools that they wanted to use to solve that problem. So then everything mattered to them. It was meaningful, it was significant. So that's what I wanted to talk today too. So what we want is to promote that sense of positive math identity. We have been hearing forever, like, what is the positive math identity? How do I feel myself as a math learner, as a math person, as a mathematician, right? So what we want is to create those spaces where students can take those risks. And when they find the way of solving those problems in many different ways. One way we can do this, and now everything that we have seen outside with students doing like measurements and doing like taking risks, going up high. So we are going to see it inside of the classroom with an activity that brings that low floor, high ceiling idea, that if you know what that means, is an open task that allows all the students to be able to solve it, but without changing the activity. So everybody will be able to enter, but we don't have a top neither. So they will go as far as they go on with that activity. So we are attending diversity, we are bringing something that is meaningful for the students. And let me show you one activity that I think that it brings that idea. And that's what we will be doing today. Like moving from the indoor to the outdoor, moving through those words that are going to give us that idea of what means to have a meaningful math learning for all students. And that's important for all students. So what do you see here? So students have families coming for a snack at the end of the year. So they wanted to decorate the tables. They wanted to make sure that the room is going to be super pretty. and they wanted to decorate the tables. So one of the things that they wanted to do is kind of creating a tablecloth. So they have big papers, and then the teacher thought this is a great opportunity. This is a great opportunity for them to find a way and how they are going to solve this. The paper was in another room, so what they have to do is pick the shape that they want on the table. They have to measure it. They have to go to the other room and actually cut the paper with the measure that they took and bring it back to be able later to decorate that paper. So they ask for those measuring tapes. Actually, those are in centimeters. I'm from Spain, so those are 1 meter measuring tapes. So they started measuring, but what I want to show you is how every group was able to not only create their own problem, but also taking risk in what they are going to be choosing for the table, and how do they feel capable of choosing a strategy to solve it. So what do you see here is actually one of the ways that students were placing the tables. If you see in the previous one, they decided to do a rectangle, just putting 2 tables together. But the other students, because they thought that if they place the table like in a T form, parents will be closer together and they could be talking to each other. To just even, I don't think that they did it with that intention, but they were having a beautiful idea about the perimeter and how they are going to be closer if the shape has that T form instead of having the rectangle form. So they decided to do it that way. It was a little more complicated in the way that they are going to be measuring their paper to do the tablecloth. Once they started to measure everything, we can see different representations and how they decided to translate that measurements that they were taking with the measuring tapes into a paper. If you see the image on the left, we can see that they use numbers. So it was 54 centimeters and 217. So that was one way that they chose to do it in a rectangular table. Next group, that they have exactly the same 2 tables put together. If you see what they did is they draw the rectangle, so they have a visual of what they did. And then on the top, it is written in Catalan, but it says 2 meters and 1 hand, it says un palm, 1 hand of max. And when I saw that, it was like mind blowing, because they already knew that if they are going to use 1 hand, the hand needs to be a specific one, because it's not the same if Max is using his hand that if myself, Judith, the teacher, is using her hand. So they found a way. They didn't know how to write the 217. It was out of the comfort zone, or they didn't know how to write it, but they found a way of writing this big number in another way. And that's what I meant about being capable, taking risks, and low floor, high ceiling. It was an activity that we didn't have to change depending on the skills of the students, but they were able to solve it in their own way. What happened later, they went to the other classroom, they measure, they cut, they bring the paper back. Yes, there's some gaps in there, in the table and the paper, but they feel so proud. They knew they can do it. And after that, they decorated the table. They have a beautiful party with the families. So I think that's a beautiful example. And I would like, after every example, to summarize with a sentence that the goal isn't just taking math outside, is bringing that sense of capability everywhere. Everyone is capable. We just need to give them the time and the space for them to do it. Okay, how are we doing? So let's go to the second one, because I know that I will be running out of time soon. So I see a lot of thumbs up. So thank you. That encouraged me to keep going. I'm capable. Next one is curiosity and wonder. And I think that I started with those 2 words, and I think that they are some of my favorite ones. Like, once we start forgetting about the curiosity of learning, I think that everything starts going wrong. So I think that beauty, when you see it in the little ones, that eyes into looking at the things, you know what I'm talking about. And early years educators, we completely know. So those things here. This is my little one again. So this is just a short, like 2 seconds video that he's just separating like little branches from leaves. And you can see how he's like touching everything and how that curiosity is leading their way of learning. Same thing in here. Now we are inside of the classroom, but it's the same idea. Look at his face. Look at what he's doing. Look at he's in there. He's completely engaged into the activity that he's doing. What is happening there? He has like 2 different like kind of cups, and one is much bigger than the other, and he started moving sand from one to the Angela, I know my little one is moving sand from one to the other. There's a lot of math going behind this capacity, and even started counting how many of the little ones do I need to fill the big one. So everything that he's doing just out of his own curiosity, it cannot go the same way if we start with a worksheet. Sorry, but I don't think that that's the way that the student is going to be engaging with that idea. And we are talking about capacity now, but it can be any other topic. On the left, they are not exploring, they are not touching, they cannot connecting with everything. And not just that, it was not meaningful, it didn't matter to him. When we start with their exploration, their wonder, everything makes sense. What is happening here? Like we see same thing, like we are going to be practicing seeing, connecting, and just making sure that everything that we are learning, it has a meaning. And now, again, let it move back into school settings. What is happening here? So students going outside, those children on the left, they were playing, it was fall, they were playing with leaves, they were playing with pine cones. They are doing so many different things, and just out of their own play and exploration, they started doing that little like spiral. And I know that the picture is too small, but they started doing the spiral using like big pine cones to the small ones. And then when they ran out the pine cones, they started alternated pine cones and little pieces of wood, like making a pattern, like A-B pattern. So they were doing measurement, they were doing lines with geometry, and also like doing patterns. Just out of their artistic part, they wanted to do something aesthetic, something that made sense for them. They were just playing, but we see a lot of math involved in it. The teacher asked if they wanted to keep some of those things and bring it inside of the classroom to keep investigating all those things that they found outdoor. And they bring it inside, and they started to explore the different parts of the leaf and what do you see on the pine cones and everything. So in there, it was not something that the teacher was imposing, but the teacher was helping them and bringing, like starting from their curiosity and bringing inside of the classroom to keep learning about those things. And then a lot of math came from it, because some of the students, what they wanted to explore is how the leaves are formed. So then, for example, the teacher, what he did, it was just cut the leaves in half, paste it in there, and they have to complete the leaves. So you see all the things that are here. First thing that we see, symmetry. So there is something that it came from their curiosity of wanting to know more about those leaves. Some of the children, they wanted to organize everything that they found outside. And some of them even, like if you see the picture on the right, they were just writing numbers of how many things of each one of the little treasures they found outside. So what I want to say with this is, what if math indoors or everywhere started with wonder too? If we start with their questions, if we start with what they want to know, everything is going to be more meaningful. So then for us, our work as teachers is become those co-investigators. We are no more answer givers. What I'm trying to do with that idea is, we as teachers, we are going from your question, and I'm giving you more and more tools to be able to solve it in different ways. Okay, I'm done with the second. Let's go. We have 2 more to go, 2 more ideas. Third idea is that idea of integration, environment, interdisciplinary, that connection with the world. And is that when we are outside, and outdoor for me is not only going to a forest, it's just going around the city. It's seeing what culture and community has brought to us and who we are because of the place where we live, right? So the outdoor learning naturally invites this interdisciplinary learning. What do we see here is one of the buildings that we have here in Catalonia. So one of the students decided to try to replicate this. So the teacher took a picture, and then with different materials, they were trying to replicate. So you see how they are looking for the 3D shapes and how we are going to translate these shapes that we see outside with the materials that we have inside of the classroom. Many other ways that we are connecting this idea of the outdoors and the culture with what is happening into the classroom, art. And I know that today you have sessions that is about art and math, and I'm so excited about those two. This is a museum that we have in Barcelona, Miró. And this is one of the field trips that we did with the school there. And children were fascinated with this specific piece of art, and they were trying to do it with their body. They were trying to think what the artist was thinking about when they did that art piece. And then we went back to the school, and it's like, you know what? Let's try to replicate, and not replicate like copy, but let's see what is the art style that Miro has, and let's do our own art pieces. So that's what we did. So what we did is they get like different 3D shapes, and we started stamping. And while stamping, look at the beautiful math opportunity to talk about the relationship between the 3D and 2D shapes. If we have a prism, how are the different parts of the prism? Like if I stamp it this way, I will get maybe a rectangle, but if I do it this way, maybe I have a square. So we are going to be developing vocabulary. We are going to be talking about the characteristics of these shapes at the same time that we are doing it and connecting with an art piece that we just saw and that is meaningful for us. So we have the students creating their own art pieces, and there is many other ways that we can be connecting this culture and community to what we are doing. So we talk about buildings and everything we saw outside, also art, but there's other ways that we can do it. Let me show you a little video. This is one traditional Catalan song that we sing in schools. We have translated to English so you can understand what the song says, because it is important, but then you will see it in Catalan so you can see the original too.
The creeks go 2 by 2, how they dance, look how they dance. The creeks go 2 by 2, 4 of them dance to the song. The creeks go 2 by 2, how they dance, look how they dance. The creeks go 2 by 2, 4 of the creeks go.
Okay, let me stop there. So this is a short song that we do with the 3-year-old ones. And the song says that they are dancing 2 by 2. So they are 4 and they are dancing 2 by 2. So this is one song that we decided to use to start working actually the number decomposition of number 4. So we start with students dancing, they are listening to the song. There is a song that we sing not with a math purpose, it's just a traditional song, but it was so in there, the math, that we couldn't avoid like bringing it into the classroom to talk about number decomposition. So what we did is they started singing, dancing, we showed the dance, we dance all together, and think on all the things that are happening in there. It's not only number decomposition, 2 and 2 makes 4, but it's also position in space, like where do I have to jump, and what is the place where I have to walk, where I have to land, what is the middle. So there is a lot of things going on. And then
Escrits de dos en dos, quatre ballen la cançó.
So now you saw the song in Catalan, that's the original one. Then we move for them into doing it with material. So we are moving from more concrete to abstract. So we are also using all these ideas that community and culture is giving us for a math opportunity that we don't have to forget that is an abstract language that we also need to practice. So we take this and little by little moving it from the concrete to abstract. So what we are doing here is we start with our body, with a song, and then they started doing with the different materials, and they play in pairs, and they try to do it in that way. And then we ask the little ones just to represent whatever they want on a blank paper. And let me show you. This is some of the representations that our 3-year-olds have done on paper. That's the end of the year. I also have to say, they are almost 4. Some of them are 4. So what you see here is after we have done like many days dancing, and then we are doing it with the little linking cubes, we give individual time for the little ones to be able to reflect about what they have done, and to have also individual time for them to represent their learning. So when they represent their learning, they can do it any way they want. Again, I'm capable. I have a positive math identity. I'm a mathematician. I'm able to share my math ideas. And that's what we want them to do from the beginning. This is not a closed activity. That's a space for you to show what you know. And you can do it any way you want. So this is super powerful. There is a way for us to see what the students know, but also a beautiful way for them to be doers of math. So in here, you see like different representations. You see one of the students, and we know this age, it's all about themselves. There is a big student that's themselves. And then the 3 other ones that were dancing with them. We have other ones that they are wanting to start using numbers. And you see here, you see actually like the whole equation, like you see 2 and 2 makes 4. So that's beautiful. It's another way that they are representing. And other way that they could represent this is they like seeing it from the top. They don't need to write or draw the person anymore. They just do it in a more symbolic way. But if you see in here, they were able to position the children in the position that they were doing it in the song. So in all of them, we see number 4 in different ways. We see 2 and 2. Even in here, like the teacher was able to introduce another decomposition of 4, because instead of 2 and 2, it's like, oh, what I see is 1 and 3. So again, it's starting from where the students are bringing their knowledge, and for us to move them forward using their curiosity, their questions, and all the knowledge that they bring to the classroom. Many other things that we can connect with community, and things that you will see on the following sessions today. Books. Books are beautiful scenarios for you to be connecting math with the outdoors, with the outside, with stories, with this joy, right? So there's something, some of the words that we were talking at the beginning. So here is the third idea. Let's design all learning opportunities as integrative and authentic as the outdoors. When we are outdoors, everything feels authentic. We are walking around, we see our surroundings, and it's not only nature and trees, it's everything that is out there. So why inside of the classroom or any other space we cannot do it as integrative and authentic as it happens outdoors? Let's go through the 4th idea. Are we doing still okay? All here? Yeah? It's so weird not being able to see you and interact. So I just hope that that's helpful for you. I'm having a lot of fun, even though I cannot see you. But let's see. Okay, 4th idea, play, movement. I know you all were waiting for play, because when I ask you to think about the outdoors, you talk about fun, you're talking about play, you were talking about movement, and now it's here. So what about play? What makes play, what makes outdoor important and powerful is that freedom that students feel outside, and that relevance and that exploration. And that's the definition of play, right? When we play, we're free. We're free to do whatever we want. We are doing pretend play, and all of a sudden, I can be a princess, or I can be whatever I want. So that's one of the beauties of play that we want to continue doing inside of the classroom and everywhere we are. Let me show you one of the ways that we can use play in different scenarios. Like one will be traditional and collaborative games. Like every culture has different games that we use outside, that we use as children, but also like with our family. We all know like card games that you used to play with grandma. I always remember the game that I used to play with her like after lunch. Like we would have sitting on the table and just keep eating sweets and just play that beautiful game that we will play for hours. So those games, those traditional games and collaborative games are also a perfect scenario for us to be able to bring math in a meaningful way. Let me show you that game. This is a game that is, you see like it's a big square, and it has a mark in the 4 angles, and then there is a small square where the children is placed inside. So the children that is playing in the square has 3 little something, like beanbags, pebbles, something like beanbags work well because they will not roll. So the thing is, we make groups of like small groups, and then we ask every children to go inside of the small square and throw the 3 beanbags. If the bag goes into one of the corners, one of the areas in the corner of the square, it will be 2 points. If it goes inside, like in between the 2 squares, this area, in between the 2 squares without going outside, it will be 1. And if it goes outside, it will be 0. In here, some of the schools that I have seen doing this activity, they even did the whole construction of the play area with the little ones, with the students. So it was amazing to see how they discuss about what makes a square. If we want to make a square, what are the things that we have to have in mind? So, and you know how that works. So it has to be like the 4 sides. It needs to be the same length, and then they need to be like right angles. So just doing this with the students, it can take like hours, but they are engaged in creating their own play area, and they will play over and over again. So they create the game, then they go, and then they start playing by themselves. The only thing that the teacher asks is, as you play, let's write down your scores so then we can share it with the rest of the class. There is no a specific way that the teacher is asking the children to write down the scores. So they can do it any way they want to do it. Some of them are doing tally marks, some of them are writing numbers. And here you can see like some of the ways that the students were writing down their scores. So they wrote their names, and then some of them, they were just writing like 2, 1, and 0. And those were the scores of the 3 beanbags that they were throwing. After they were playing for a few days, they have the square outside, they were playing, and they have it in the play area outdoor. Then another day when they were playing, the teacher brought different cards, and then ask, and then ask the students if they were able to represent their score using the numbers that they have in the card. Some of them, remember, they were using still tally marks, and none of them were adding using any math sentence. Those are kindergarten students. So the teacher is like using the game that they were doing and using the scores that they have on the paper is like, what if we try to represent this with a math sentence, with an equation? That video is in Catalan, it has subtitles, so you will be able to follow, but I think it's beautiful the way that the teacher was helping those students into translating this game language into this math language.
A veure, quants punts has obtingut? 2, 2, I un 0, doncs anem a posar-ho, a posar-los. 2, què més necessitàvem? 2, i un 0. Aquí hi ha un 0. I això és... Aquí hi ha un 0. Quin símbol era aquest? Com li dèiem? Igual. Igual. 2. Molt bé, més. 2. Quatre. Aviam, fem. 2, aviam. 2 més 2. Anem a comptar. Llavors, 4 punts. Aviam si el Martí... Provem un 4. Molt bé, Aina. Super!
I love these little videos. They always make me so much happy, like to see how they start exploring these things and how they move from that game language to this abstract language. But there is a lot of things happening there. Is the teacher helping them? I know that is again like going into more the equation. So we are going into the math field of and the math way of representing what they are doing. But what is beautiful there is how the teacher is helping all the students into understanding what that means. So that little one, when they was putting all the cards in there, she already was having like 2 fingers on top of the number 2, 2 fingers on top of the other number 2, and started counting. Some of the other students, as soon as she placed the cards, they were 4. They knew already that it was 4. But what the teacher did is just wait and give her the time to understand why the other ones were saying 4. Because when she started listening 4, she repeated 4, but the teacher was like, wait a minute, let's see it. Show me your fingers. Let me see what you have in there. So they started counting and finishing with translating these scores that she did while playing into a math sentence. And then they were able to do it by themselves. So they were able to write the math sentence. But I want to show you that not all of them, when we give them the time then to represent it, same idea that we did before with the other activity, at the end, after many days, we ask them to represent it on a paper. So let me show, I give you the opportunity for me to, for you to show me, what did you learn? What is the most important thing that you saw when doing this game with your friends outside? And you can see like many different things. Some of them, they just draw the play area, but you still see things in there. You still see how they have a very good understanding of the shape and the angles, the corners that they have in there, the areas on the angles. We can also see some of them that they are starting to show the action of the game. So they know that they throw 3 of the little pebbles or beanbags, and they knew the scores in there, and they were even able to write some of the scores of their friends. So 2, 2, and 2, 0, 0, and 0. We have other students that go in a step farther, and they're showing not only their score, that in this case is 0, 1, and 0, but what they are doing is trying to write a math sentence. We are not quite yet there, because we are writing 0 plus equal 1, 0, but she does have all the elements in there. She has the 0, the 1, the 0, the plus, the equal. It's just that I don't know exactly how it works, but it is I'm capable. I know that I can do it, and maybe I'm not there yet. And the yet is important. Like every children will have their own position into that learning trajectory, but just sharing with each other and creating that safe space, it will make them take risks. So I can write that math sentence in there. It doesn't matter if it's not correct yet, because I will get it at some point. What else? So some other students, they start writing the math sentence. So you can see it here, like you can see 1 plus 1, 1 plus 1 plus 2 equals 4, 1 plus 2 plus 2 equals 5. So we can start seeing some of them, they are able to write like all the different equations from all the members of the team. And one beautiful thing in there that every time that I see this blank page, it makes me smile, that is that 0 in there. And that idea of 0 being nothing. Because she knew that 1 plus 1 plus 0, it will be 2, but 1 plus 1, it will be 2. So I know that the 0 is there, but I don't know if I have to add it to my equation. Is that important? You know what? I'm going to add it there, close to it. But I don't need to add it into the equation. So even that knowledge that they show when we give them the time, it's amazing because it just gives us a lot of information about what the students are learning. And then the last one, let me tell you about what happened in this in this representation. Because if you see there are 5 little stones instead of 3, and there is a number 10. So when the teacher was asking the students to represent, a lot of things were happening. They were asking questions. What is the maximum score you can get? So why? It's 6. Could you get a 7? Why not? What is the minimum one you can get? So there is a lot of argumentation going into these rich questions that comes into play when we are allowing the students to explore this kind of games. This student, Luke, he created his own problem. And when the teacher went to ask, it's like, Luke, what did you do? And he's like, I'm thinking that if I want to have a higher score, I need more beanbags to throw. And then what I'm thinking is if I have 5 of them and all of them go to the corners with 2 points, I will score 10. And that's the maximum one that I can find with 5 scores. So again, I think that's an amazing example of the low floor house ceiling. Some of the little ones are still representing the square with the area, are understanding of what they are doing, but they are solving the activity, they are understanding what they are doing. All of them are doing rich math. Some of them, they are able to even create a new problem that it goes beyond what they have been doing outside and playing. So with that 4th idea is, let's not treat play as separate from math rigor because they are partners. Like sometimes, how many times we hear, like, well, little ones, they just play. And usually my answer is yes, they just play, but not in a negative way. Like when they are playing, they are learning. And for us as teacher is making sure that the scenario we're giving them, the tools, the material, the time is right, asking the right questions, allowing them to move from that concrete to that abstract. It's not easy to guide and help them while they are playing. But I think that they should not compete. Like play and rich math should go hand to hand, and not thinking that if they are playing, they are not learning. And in the opposite way, if they are learning math, they cannot be playing. Because we have seen with all of these examples that they have time for exploring freely. They have time to ask questions. They have time to do really rich and complicated math. Remember those students going into numbers like 217 with the measuring tape, or those students writing sentences, math sentences with 3 digits. So those are really complicated things for 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, but they were able to do it because we didn't separate these 2 things. We were able to bring everything that they were doing outdoors into what they bring into any other part that we are going to be interacting with those children and with their community and space. So now that we have the 4 ideas, let me go and revise all of them. And I wanted to show you through a little example that I have here. And actually, that example was in a time of COVID that we have to be inside. And I had the opportunity for a few months to be homeschooling. So that's one of the activities that happened while we were there. And I wanted to bring back like the 4 ideas with that example, right? Because what happened here is that we had to bring our dog to the vet because he was sick. So going to the vet, a lot of things happen, right? Like they weigh the dog and they take measurements and they compare with other ones to see, like actually our dog was a little overweight, so we have to put it on a diet. So they were comparing the weight with other dogs and things like that. So what I think that it was super important for them is to bring all those experiences into what they wanted to do inside of, in this case, it was inside of the house. It's like, can we do that little vet office? And it was amazing the amount of things that were happening while they were playing that pretend area that it was their vet office. In here, it was not just going outside. We couldn't go outside. It was about bringing that sense of what I'm capable to do inside of the home. In this case, it was home, but it could be anywhere. I don't know if you can see it in the picture on the left, but they have tons of numbers. They were using a little kitchen scale and they were weighing everything that they found. Then they have those little animals and they were measuring all of them, and then they were sorting them and organize them by length. And they have little cards with the number of the measurement on the bottom. And then they were doing like little cards for them with the medicine that they have to take. So it was a lot of math involved, but it was, again, like in number 2 says, because they started with wonder. They wanted to know what happened to my dog and what we would have to do and how this scale works. And if I want to measure it, where do I have to place the measuring tape? So in here, they were integrating what was happening outside in that vet area to what they wanted to know. So it was meaningful for them. And at the same time, they were playing, they were having fun, they were changing roles, but it was not separate from the math rigor. They knew how to use the tools, they knew how to solve the problems, they knew what they have to do to be able to weight them, to know how much medicine do they have to give them depending on the weight. So it was a lot of math involved. And I think that it was the way for them to understand what it was happening. And at the same time, it was all the emotional part, right? Because if we think about it, we were in a time where we couldn't go outside. We were worried about getting sick. It was also a way for them to talk about all these topics. So all the emotional part, it is something that we as educators, we know that if we don't feel safe, if we are not in a space in which we can take risk, in which we know that we are going to be heard, that my voice is going to be listened, we are not going to be learning. So I think that everything that you are going to be seeing today about the outdoors, what I want to invite you is to get all those ideas, all those beautiful ideas of what the outdoor is bringing, and just try to bring it everywhere. Every time that you can with your students, make it feel capable and start from their curiosity and their wonder, and just make sure that they are connecting everything that is around them with what we want them to be learning. And with that, I'm wanting to be finishing. I mean, it's been like, I cannot believe that my hour is almost done. I mean, I hope that you have fun in here, because for me, it was amazing to share this time with you. But I wanted to finish with this sentence: let's build learning spaces where children feel just as capable as they do outside, because they are. And thank you very much. I hope that you keep playing. I hope that that sense of wonder is still with you, and you have time to enjoy with children and with everyone, with the other adults. Just bring it in. Just bring your childhood in there. And if you want, I have my email there. Like I'm happy to connect with any of you. I also let the QR to my Substack. There's nothing there yet. I'm just starting. I want to have a beautiful community for all of you to start wandering with me and play together. So yeah, thank you.
That was incredible. It was so beautiful seeing those examples of children's like sense of belonging in math through their play, outdoor learning, and those open-ended tasks to really leverage their curiosity. I hope you can feel all the energy from the reactions that are coming through and all the love in the chat. It was so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
For our attendees, we're now going to transition to a break and move into our first breakout sessions. So after you leave this session, you'll go back to that Zoom event webpage and you'll have the list of the first breakout sessions. You can choose whichever option interests you most. Remember, every single session today is being recorded. So if you're having a difficult time choosing, you'll have access to all the other sessions after this event. We'll notify you when they're available. Same thing goes for this keynote. You'll have access to this as well. In those breakout sessions, you'll also have the resources tab at the bottom for all of the resources relevant to your sessions. And that's what I had for you. All right, I hope everyone enjoys their first breakout sessions. Thank you so much again, Dr. Fabrega.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Enjoy your first breakout sessions.